I had just a minute. I had 48 hours to reflect on Cowboy Cerrone and the discussion of him retiring. And at first glance, I was very irritated. I was very irritated because of the unfairness and the unnecessariness of it. Of Cowboy's last fights, he has a draw. The one judge who had the balls to say who won said Cowboy won. Two other judges had a draw. Somewhere along the way, Donald Cerrone fought a guy who kicked his ass the first time named Anthony Pettis, who is a former world champion and the only athlete to this day to ever grace the cover of the Wheaties box. Everybody who saw that fight, including Anthony Pettis, said Cowboy won the fight. So to look back at the numbers or to look like there has been a fall from grace or a slowing down or a less of an effort or a less grit or a less toughness of Cowboy. And nobody has said those things exactly. But guys, you know what I'm talking about. Every time we start to call for somebody's retirement, one or more of those things are happening. None of those things happened. So I was irritated at the discussion, but that was first glance. I've had a little bit more time. And I started to understand the people calling for Cowboy's retirement have not called for his retirement because of any of those things. They have not called for his retirement because he is no longer popular. He is no longer sought after. He no longer has a great and unique personality that people are intrigued by and want to see. He no longer has stopped taking on anybody, anywhere, anytime at two different weight classes. His combinations haven't got worse. His chin hasn't gotten bad, but nobody said that they did. 2 days ago, I assumed that that was the claim that was going to be made. 2 days later, I realized it wasn't. What is largely being said by Cowboy is, you've done your job. You did a great one at it. You went after records. You have those records. You set out to make some money. You have the money. You set out to get your respect. Work hard towards a goal. Showcase that in front of the world. You did all of those things. What is wrong with a guy going out on top? And you could call it a draw. I can live with a draw. A draw is not a loss. You saw how happy Nico was with a draw. I got no problem with that response. I go into that ring. I don't want to lose. Draw. I didn't lose. I mean, that was Nico's perspective, but I get that. I think people can relate to that. Cowboy had a little bit different idea. He had one judge give it to him. He thought, well, if I could just get one of these other two judges, and I do have that point taken away, it looks like it's going to be my night. And Cowboy had some disappointment that the math didn't work up that way. But the idea of Cowboy stepping away, why I am light on that idea, and why I do not believe he is going to be of the mind of that idea, and ultimately he does have the right to deserve because he did not lose. But a separate game is being played here. A separate set of rules and criteria are being applied to Cowboy here. And those aren't wrong. Those aren't bad. They're unique, but it's very unique that a guy go out any other way than face down and embarrassed and realizing I just can't do this work anymore. Cowboy has realized one thing: I can do this work still. I like to do this work still. I want to do this work still, but I don't need to do this work still. And for somebody to bring that to his attention and show him there's another way. We do not have to squeeze this until it's dry, until you're ran out and ran off. We don't have to do that. There's another way. Your life happens to be set up in that way. He is married. He has 2 children. Congratulations, by the way, Donald. One of them was born a week ago, I'm told. So what would be bad if Cowboy went on top? There's not a scenario where he's going to go out as champion. I mean, the ultimate dream. Only one guy's ever done that. His name's George St. Pierre. Only one guy in boxing ever did that. His name's Lennox Lewis. Tyson Fury could walk away right now, not gonna. Why? Well, because he subscribes to the other theory that I laid out of I can still do this. If I can still do this, and I'm gonna go do it. You're only gonna be alive for so long. If you found something that you love to do, go do it as long as you can. I get all of those things. This is a unique situation that we're being presented with. And the more I think about it, the more I don't hate it. I don't love the idea yet. I'm not on board with it yet. I will be on board as soon as Donald Cerrone comes to that realization. He goes, you know what? I do feel pretty damn good. I got guys that I'm training. I want to be participating. I want to be involved. I'll just go focus on training these guys. He's a hell of an interesting guy that's got a hell of an interesting mouth. I mean, I can see Donald Cerrone having a reality show doing something. It's already got a YouTube channel that's doing great. People that go and subscribe at it, it's an inside look at his life. If you didn't know about it, now you know. Go to YouTube, look up Donald Cerrone. You're going to have a great time. I could see him in a world of commentating if that's something that he wanted to do. But seeing him as a coach and a corner man and transitioning into some of these things, it looks like he already is. I don't know that I've seen him in somebody's corner. He's already working with, he's already mentoring with, he's already giving back to the next generations. What in the hell more else is there to do? In all fairness, walk out there and have a fight. Maybe you get your hand raised. Maybe you don't. Okay. I mean, that's a big deal. I don't want to diminish that. That's a big deal. That's the life that he knows. But he might want to consider what is being presented for him. He is not being pushed away by Dana White. He is being encouraged and complimented and given an opportunity to get out while still on top. With all those records intact, with all those memories intact, with all those main events and co-main events and spot downs and media interviews and the gimmick and the cowboy and the whole, all intact. It's something that needs to be considered. It's generally something we don't consider. We consider leaving the sport when we can no longer do the sport. That's the way it's always been done. It doesn't have to be. Donald's done a lot of firsts. Why not be the first guy to leave on top? Look, a draw is a top. I don't want to get in a back and forth with you guys. A draw is on top. You're going out there with a young up-and-comer who's got his whole future ahead of him, and he could not get the jump on you. He hit you with his best shots. He fought you for 15 minutes hard. Nico Price is a straight-up badass. No way around it. Couldn't beat Donald Cerrone. I'm just saying, there is a silver lining to this, and the more that time has gone by and the more I've been able to reflect on it and think, how did we ever get to the point? The more I'm starting to think, this is a great point. This is a great spot. I don't know what Donald's going to decide. But he is in a very interesting spot, and if he doesn't take the opportunity... Now, look, here's the one thing you have to understand. That day's coming. That day where you have to wake up and go, I am no longer that. That was my identity. That is who I am. That's who I looked at myself as. That is who, when my phone rang and people reached out to me and wanted to talk to me and gave me a pat on the back, it was all for those things. If that goes away, all those things go away. Okay, tough day. But that day is out there. Why push it any further? That is a performance you can go out on. They could have raised Nico's hand. That performance by Cowboy, taking the best shots from one of the wildest strikers this sport has, and never falling down, not having a single judge, a licensed, educated judge in the fight capital of the world known as Nevada, where they only bring in the best, and not one of them thought you lost. The more I look at this, the more I'm getting this, the more I'm starting to understand this. My ultimate choice and decision will be once I hear from Donald Cerrone and hear what his ultimate choice and decision is. But the more I think about it, the less I hate the idea.